What's going on? Danny Matta here, founder of Physical Therapy Biz. And I wanted to take a couple minutes to reintroduce myself. Many of you, if you've been listening to my podcast for quite a while, you probably already know my backstory. You probably already know a bit about me and how I got where I am today. But as we move towards putting more of this on YouTube and sharing more in other formats and other platforms, I want to take a few minutes to just reintroduce myself and give you an idea of my philosophy on these businesses, but also how I got here and what shaped my views on what we teach today and what really changed my life, to be honest with you. So, if we go back to 2007, which I'm dating myself, is when I started PT school. So I went into the U.S. Army's program, which is through Baylor University. So it's a U.S. Army Baylor Doctorate of Physical Therapy program. It's in San Antonio, Texas. Shout out to all my colleagues that are still military physical therapists and have graduated out of that program, still active duty, and or that are civilians like myself right now. I think it's one of the greatest educational programs for physical therapists in the country, if not number one, in my opinion, if you want to be involved in sports medicine and orthopedics, which is what I wanted to do. So I was fortunate enough to get accepted into this program. I spent 3 years there learning how to become a physical therapist and did all kinds of rotations around there, which was awesome, right? Because half our program is in clinic and the other half is didactic. So we're learning, everything we need to pass tests. But half of it we're spending in clinics. And I spent an entire year in a high volume insurance-based clinic in the San Antonio area. And that's actually where I got my first exposure to what I'd consider high volume physical therapy. Now, as I graduated and I moved on to other roles, I was fortunate enough to be assigned to the 25th Infantry Division out at Schofield Barracks, Hawaii, which is an infantry division. They were a striker division at the time, which means they were they had like small tanks. Think of it that way, right? But they were transitioning to light infantry with the brigade that I was assigned to, and it was a cool time to be there, right? It was an opportunity for me to move into an infantry division environment as a medical provider, which is really cool. I got a chance to do a lot of cool military stuff that I thought was enjoyable and physically challenging. But also I got to treat people that were hurt, and I got to teach strength conditioning classes, and I had a lot of autonomy as a brigade physical therapist in charge of thousands of soldiers. And what I got there was my first taste of what I would consider entrepreneurship, because the reality was nobody knew what I did. They didn't really know what I was supposed to do or what my deliverables were. All they really cared was soldiers were being treated if they were hurt, and fewer soldiers being hurt was like better, right? And great, that's what my focus was on. So I got to a point where I really was focusing heavily on performance and injury prevention, and less so on injuries, which was the goal, right? I wanted to stop people from getting hurt, not wait till they got hurt. And I had a ton of freedom, so I set my own schedule. I did the things that I wanted to do from an education standpoint. And it really spoiled me, to be honest with you, to go back to any other general clinic job that I would be assigned to. And in the summer of 2013, I was reassigned to Fort Benning, which is in Columbus, Georgia, which is the home of the Airborne School, which was a cool opportunity for me to move to a clinic that was attached to the Airborne School. So we saw all kinds of strange injuries, jump injuries, lots of trauma. But what happened to me was I was put back into what's considered a troop medical clinic, which is basically a high volume clinic, a traditional clinic setting. And I was taken out of this interesting environment where I could be involved in lots of different training and injury prevention, and have say over my schedule and get to do cool military shit with an infantry division that I was assigned to. All of that kind of went away. But what I did have, was an opportunity to move into some other things. And the Kelly and Juliet Starrett, who own a company called The Ready State, had approached me about potentially teaching for them at the time. I'd known them for a few years. I had learned from him and his staff, and it was an opportunity to take a job teaching, both for their company, but also to fulfill tactical contracts that they had a lot of with different military groups all around the world, which was a really unique opportunity for me, and something that I didn't feel like I could turn down. So, in 2014, in the summer of 2014, my wife and I, and by that point, two young kids decided, hey, military been cool. It's been very, impactful part of our life, but we feel like this is the direction that we need to go. So we got out, we moved to Atlanta, where there's a huge airport where I can fly to all these obscure places that I was going to. And we started a clinic kind of on the side, a cash-based clinic, because I needed something to do when I wasn't teaching. And I wanted to test the stuff that I was teaching anyway, right? It gave me an interesting opportunity to just test these concepts that we were teaching to strength coaches and clinicians and operators, all around the world. And what we didn't realize was that clinic would turn into the thing that really was the biggest opportunity for us, was a thing that changed our life, frankly. And after a few years of teaching and having this clinic on the side, what happened was the clinic started to grow and grow and grow organically as we started to just get people great outcomes, really care about people, spend time with people. And we were doing something different than what people could find in the city of Atlanta at the time. And we realized after a couple of years that this is really what we need to focus on. So I stopped teaching. We focused just on our clinic, and Ashley and I were able to quickly grow that clinic to multiple providers, and it turned into something that legitimately just changed our life. It financially changed our life from an impact standpoint, and the people that we were able to work with, and it made us just better business owners. We had to learn to be better business owners. And a few years after starting our clinic, I started to get people reaching out to me primarily from courses that I had taught. So clinicians that had come to courses that I taught were reaching out to me about, hey, what are you doing with your clinic? Because I don't want to work in an in-network clinic. I don't want to work in a high volume clinic. I don't want to work in a hospital. I don't want to do home health anymore. Like, I want to work with, active adults. I want to work with athletes like what you're doing. And I don't want to have to take insurance. And we didn't think we were doing anything special, to be honest. We just had no idea. So we decided that we would take a group of clinicians, 7 clinicians, for a year, and we would work with them to get their businesses, in a better spot, and to try to take what we learned and apply it to their businesses and see how that actually went. And over the course of that year, Ash and I learned a lot. We were able to help a lot of people, and we were just shocked, honestly, at the results people were able to get, the changes in their business, but more importantly, how cool it was when we got everybody together at the end of that year. We brought everybody to our clinic, and how good of a time they all had with each other, and how just how awesome the energy was, just how positive everything was, and how rare it felt. And at the end of that, my goal was like, okay, cool. Like, that was great. Go ahead and take what you learned and run with it, right? And every single one of them asked me if they could continue to work for another year, right? And that's when we realized that, we knew some stuff that was really helpful to clinics that we were very much underestimating. And we decided to, really start to help more clinics, because honestly, I enjoyed it so much. Like, I felt that it was more of what we call in the military force multipliers, right? So like myself going into a brigade, I'm a force multiplier. I can help people not get hurt. I can help them be able to do their job better. I can help them perform better. I can help them improve the fighting capacity of this group, right? And for us, when we look at the profession, there's a phrase that says it's better to be a pirate than join the Navy, right? And that means, like, it's better for you to do your own thing and, and stick to that and to chart your own course than it is to, to join a big group. And that's how I felt. I felt like we had this group of people that are just doing things differently. And we want to really see that grow. We want to see that develop, because I feel it's very important for the profession, for clinics like ours to grow and be able to help more and more people, and to help people live these like high performance, pain-free lives that so many people are after, but very few people have an advocate, have somebody quarterbacking their ability to do that. That we can do so well. And there's people that need it. There's businesses that can thrive off of it, and it's a perfect match. So we felt we had a better opportunity to help change the profession by doing so. I basically started to remove myself from patient care and focus on educating, focus on learning, focus on sharing the ideas that we had, formulated within our clinic, Athlete's Potential, which was the name of it, in the first 5 years or so of running it. And off the back of that, I wrote my first book. It's called, go figure, Fuck Insurance. And it's a book that I'm very proud of. I'm very proud of the title. I'm very proud of the way it looks. It looks like a 1990s CD, parental advisory, the shit you weren't supposed to buy at the store. That's what we want it to look like, because the information in this book is dangerous to the profession. It's dangerous to the status quo of physical therapy, of seeing 20 people a day, of people burning our providers out at a young age and wondering if they made the right choice going to PT school. That's a dangerous topic in there that shows people how to take ownership of their own career and increase what they make, but also increase their impact and increase their enjoyment using their skill set the way that it's deserved. And that book was something that, had helped a lot of people and reached a lot of people. Some of you may have read that book right now. We revised it and updated it. It's now called the Cash-Based Field Manual, which isn't as cool of a title, but to be honest with you, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, you throw the mother of all curse words on the front of a book, and it's impossible to run any sort of ads to it. So as we revised the book and updated it based on information that we had learned that was just better concepts, we changed the name of the book, which that's readily available on our site as well. You can actually still buy Fuck Insurance if you want to do that. But you got to go to Amazon and look for it. But either way, that's a book that we're very proud of. We've had thousands and thousands of people buy it, use it, and many people grow, multiple 6 and even 7-figure practices just off the information in that book. So, for us, that was the next logical step. And from there, we just put our head down and started getting after it like we did with our first business. And to date, we've helped over 1,000 clinicians, directly helped over 1,000 clinicians. I'm not saying I have 1,000 clinicians that have listened to a podcast. I'm saying we've helped over 1,000 clinicians face-to-face, person-to-person, start, grow, and scale their clinics. We have more alumni that have successful clinics than most coaching programs, in our space. And we're very proud of them. To date, we've added hundreds of millions of dollars of recurring revenue to the profession of physical therapy in these small one-to-one or low volume clinics that are either fully cash or hybrid clinics that are incorporating things like performance-based training, wellness training, obviously injury treatment, semi-private training, digital program work, all kinds of different profit centers that happen in these businesses that allow us to have a lot of flexibility. And even currently with our mastermind program, we have 250 businesses we work with all across the country. And what's so cool about that is the effect that we have on the population now, just with the businesses that we're currently working with in the last 12 months, is 65,000 new patients. That's an arena full of people. That's something that we're really, really, really proud of, and we look forward to helping even more people. But I will say, for me, the transition has not been the easiest thing to do, because when you go to school to learn how to do something as valuable and important as helping people get out of pain and back to activities and resolving injuries and being better after surgeries than they were before, things like that, and you enjoy doing it. When you make a pivot, and some of you are going to have to do this with your business, when you make a pivot from expert clinician trying to be world class at something to now all of a sudden you have to run a business, that transition can be really hard. That was a very difficult thing for me. I identify as a clinician. if somebody asks me at a dinner party what I do for a living, I tell them I'm a physical therapist. Then it gets kind of weird when they ask me where I treat, and I tell them I don't anymore. I sold a practice. Now I help clinicians on the business side, but I still identify that way. And people in my neighborhood, friends, family, I have a free garage gym PT clinic where, they can get checked out by someone that's a mediocre physical therapist, but free at the same time, anytime they want. And that transition, and many of you will have to make the same transition to go from clinician and being obsessed with being great as a clinician to being a business owner. That can be hard. That can be hard because you have to shift your attention and your focus, and you may really love what you do over here as a clinician. But when you look at your impact, if your goal is to have a bigger impact, you have a bigger impact by training your staff to do what you love to do and helping them, be as great of a clinician as you are. Now, all of a sudden, instead of it just being you, there's 3, 4, 5 of you. That's a lot more people that you can help. And then to make that transition for me, even from the business owner side to, really an education platform where we're helping more clinicians, again, a very hard thing to do. We sold our practice, and it's a fantastic accomplishment. We're very proud of it. And that business is still doing very, very well. But to even sell a business like that, you're so tied to it personally, it's a difficult transition. It's a sad thing in some ways to remove yourself from a community, from a culture that you've built that's special, that you enjoy being around, and that's such a positive place to be. So these pivotal points, everybody's going to go through them, and where we're at now, where we solely focus on helping businesses, that's why we put this information out. That's why we have 700 plus podcast episodes, who knows how many videos. That's why we travel around. If you haven't seen them yet, clinic tours, we're showing off what these clinics look like, what's possible to do, and what to give you some ideas so you can be creative within the profession with your own clinic, because this is the path that we see this going. Cash-based physical therapy in particular is growing exponentially every single year. Some of you might see this in your area and you might say, okay, is it saturated? It's not. It's not at all. There's so many people that don't even know what the hell physical therapy is. They don't even know that you exist, let alone know that your competitors exist. Like, there's so many people, and we fight over this small piece of the population that is aware they have a problem. They're looking for a solution. That's a sliver of the population. It's tiny. You got to get out there and let people know who you are, who you help, be involved in your community, and do a fantastic job. We're not competing against each other. We're competing against not knowing who we are. We're competing against large hospital organizations. They're going to give them watered down care, and they're going to have them, be seen with 2 other people at the same time. That's what we're competing against. And pretty soon you're going to be competing against digital options that are AI-based algorithms for treating different injuries. And this has already happened. So are you competing against each other? No, you're going to be competing against a lot of other people, a lot of other things. And the best thing you can do is just focus on having the best clinic you possibly can grow, being the best business owner that you can possibly be, and reinvesting in yourself as a business owner. And understand that your limitation is not going to be as a clinician. I promise you it's not. Well, unless you suck as a clinician. And if that's the case, stop listening to what I'm saying and go learn how to be a good clinician. Tons of resources out there. But if you're a good clinician, your ability to grow your clinic, your ability to provide financial stability for you and your family, it is on how good of a business owner are you? How good are you at sales, marketing, people, process, finance, leadership? That's the variable that's going to change things for you and allow you to create time and financial freedom. And as soon as you realize that, and this was a hard pill for me to swallow too, I just thought I'm just going to be the best clinician I possibly can. Then my wife and I realized, well, we don't know shit about running a business, especially when we hired people and then we moved into a standalone space and we took on a bunch of debt in order to be able to grow and scale. And, we didn't deserve it. We didn't know what we were doing. And, luckily for us, we didn't ruin it along the way. And we did dive into learning more about business and reinvesting in ourselves. And that's the paradigm shift that you have to get to. If you want to run a business, you've got to understand, you got to be a good business owner, and that's where we help people today. So in my whole, pivot, and transition from, going to school, wanting nothing more than to be, a fantastic military clinician, to then wanting to be a fantastic civilian clinician and educator, to then wanting to be a fantastic business owner, to now wanting to be a fantastic educator in our profession to help our population grow and scale, it all comes through this evolution of the things that you're learning, the things that you're applying, and the things that you want to focus your attention on. So if you're listening to this and you have a business, I promise you need to focus your attention on becoming a better business owner, period. And if you're looking to improve that, that's what we do. I hope that my story has helped give you a better idea of who you're listening to, why you might want to listen to me, and if you look behind me, there's 2 Inc. 5000 awards behind me. This is not like, we're not making this shit up. This isn't business information that I just read in a book and I'm sharing with you now. This is in the trenches, legit business advice from someone that's been there, done that, and trying to help a lot of people do the same thing. So you can listen to what we have here on YouTube. You can listen to this on a podcast. You can pick up my book. You can pick up the resource we have. You can head to our website, go through the free resource we have, the 5-day challenge. You can get on a call with our team, go through our business audit where we'll actually take you through and benchmark you based on portions of the business that we see as being the biggest bottlenecks and let you know how you're doing compared to the hundreds of clinics that we actively work with. We're here to help, okay? And we are clinicians. That's my background. That's your background. You can't fake that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't fake being involved in the profession. And there's a lot of people that probably see this as a business opportunity within the profession as this is growing. And that, sure, no problem with that, whatever. But when you come at it from the angle that I do, that my team does, from being there, knowing what that feels like, knowing what it feels like to see 20 people a day, knowing what it feels like to be scared out of your mind, starting a clinic, knowing what it feels like to take on debt to be able to scale and being terrified that you're going to go bankrupt and having personal guarantees on leases and things like that. It's a different place to come from for us to be able to help people because we intimately understand what that feels like and how we can help you navigate those very, very choppy waters, and in some cases, dangerous business situations that can ultimately bankrupt you. And I'm not like saying that to scare anybody. That's legit thing that happens. Like, you can go out of business. You can lose at this game. It's not like everybody wins. It doesn't work that way. And we want people to not actually go out of business, to not lose, to be able to play this game for a very, very long time at the highest level that they want. And that's why we put this information out. And I am very honored to do so. I've been doing this nonstop now and sharing information for literally years and years. I find a lot of value in being able to educate other people. And I love seeing the growth of the people that we work with, because I know how much it affects their lives. Like, I know how much it affects their finances. I know how much it affects their time freedom, their mental bandwidth to be able to be present with their family and their communities, and their ability to help people around them get back to things that they love doing. And that's fantastic. That's why we do what we do. So that's me, Danny Matta, founder of PT Biz. If you're interested in learning more, just stick around. We have a lot of information to share. We have a lot of resources that we want to, share with you to help you along your journey. And if it makes sense and you want to get where you're trying to go a little faster, we'd love to have the opportunity to maybe even work with you in person. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.